And welcome to the Bulloch Sports Report. I'm Josh Aubrey. Plenty to get to in this week's show. The Georgia Southern football team coming off a 10-point loss on the road in Jonesboro against Arkansas State. They are now 3-5 overall and 1-3 in Sunbelt play. The Eagles do not play this Saturday. They play next Thursday on the road at Appalachian State. We had a chance to talk with Eagle head coach Clay Helton about some of the things that happened in the Arkansas State game and where they go from here. We'll hear from him in just a bit. As for the Georgia Southern men and women's basketball teams, they tip things off next week. We'll hear from head coach Charlie Henry as well as head coach of the women's team, Hana Haden, in just a little bit, as well as our area high school football teams who are wrapping up the regular seasons this Friday. The Statesboro Blue Devils with a lot on the line. They've had a chance for their first region championship since 2011. They'll be playing Effingham County. Both of those teams sitting on top, three-way tie in the region standings. If Statesboro wins, they'll be the region champs. If Effingham wins, they'll be number 2 because they lost to Brunswick, who is the third team that they are tied with. That game is at 7:30 at Womack Field. Should be a great crowd on hand. We'll hear from Matt Dobson and some of his players in just a bit. As for the Southeast Bulloch Yellow Jackets, they have a very slim chance of making it to the playoffs. A lot of things have to happen in order for that to happen, including they have to beat Beach, who they host 7:30 at Fred Shaver Field coming up on Friday. We will hear from Jared Zito in just a bit. As for the Bulloch Academy Gators, they're on a bye week. They wrapped up the regular season this last week with a big win at Pinewood. This week they're on a bye, and next week they'll start the state playoffs as they'll be hosting George Walton. We'll hear from head coach Aaron Phillips and a couple of players as they get ready for their state playoff run coming up next week. All that and the Portal Panthers also wrapping up the season, coming up at home against McIntosh County Academy this Friday. All that and more coming up on the Bulloch Sports Report. And a reminder before we go to break, hopefully you'll never be in an accident, but if so, please give our friends at the Sullivan Law Firm a call, 912-489-8888, or online at thesullivanlawfirm.com. Northside Drive behind Remax Eagle Creek Realty. Well, the Georgia Southern Eagles licking their wounds once again from another road loss. They have not won a game on the road, and that doesn't bode well as their next game is at Appalachian State next Thursday, but they do have a little time to heal up. We had a chance to talk with head coach Clay Helton about some of the issues that happened during the Arkansas State game and how they move forward. Hey, Coach, can you discuss the play calling at the end of the game and the clock management issues and the decision to kick the field goal when you were as close as you were, and also the overall offense there in the second half? And I don't know if I'll get another question. So also, is there any thought of you kind of stepping in a little bit on either side of the ball and taking over a little more of the reins there?
All right, a lot to unpack there. I'll do my best to try. I guess I'll start with the game first. Obviously, on that drive that you're talking about, they had just scored. It was a 2-score game, and priority number 1 was to get it to a 1-score game, as well as trying to keep all 3 timeouts available, because that gives you 2 opportunities to try to get the ball back, 1 with an onside kick if needed, and 2 to be able to get a 3 and out by having all 3 timeouts no matter what the clock operation was. 2 things happened on that drive that I thought that hurt us a little bit. One, one, credit to Arkansas State. They started playing coverage, and we had to be efficient in dinking the ball down and being able to, move the ball and get first downs while then playing coverage. We get a holding penalty, which I was not in agreement with, but we get it. That moves it back, and that takes a little bit more time off the clock. And then, you get down to the 2 yard line. You get down the 2 yard line, and you're kind of in a different position there. We went with a heavy package that with Weston that has been really, really good for us. Support the call. It's kind of been undefeated for us and get stopped. And you put JC back in, which obviously takes some time off the play clock. We get to the 3rd and 3. We've had it 3 times down there. And like I said, priority number 1 is to cut it to a 1-score game and give yourself the opportunity. At that time, being on the 3 yard line, I thought it was best to go ahead and kick the field goal, get it to a 1-score game, try the onside kick. Tripp did a phenomenal job with his kick. Ball scored it out, and they were able to get on top of it before our defender got there, and then still had 3 timeouts. If you get the 3 and out there, you got about 1:40 left on the clock. We allow the big run to happen on the first play. We stop them on the next 3, but they were in field goal range after that big run, and that left about 40 seconds on the clock. So I hope that answers that one for you. As far as the play calling duties, those will remain with the coordinators. I entrust them to be able to get that done. I feel bad for Coach Bailey right now with the injuries, especially on the defensive front. But you got to play good team football. It's no excuse not to win. You got to find other areas. We needed 35 points in that game, and we didn't get it offensively. And we needed to be able to play, elite special teams. I thought we did in our coverage units, but we needed to play a little bit better on return units to be able to establish a little bit better field position in the second half. We had a -5 yard start as well as a -15 yard start after kick returns.
All right, well, as for the men's and women's basketball teams, they will both be tipping things off next week. We had a chance to talk with head coach Charlie Henry to tell us a little bit about how he feels about the men's basketball team.
We're ready. A lot of new guys, but a lot of excitement, a lot of really good guys, hungry to prove themselves, from an individual standpoint, prove they can play at this level, and then from a team standpoint, do it together. So we're ecstatic to get going.
Where do you feel you see the biggest changes from last year to this year on your team?
Yeah, it's really a whole new team. Obviously you have Tyron who played for me in year 1. You have Kay who's back from last year. You have Dwayne, who sat out last year. But besides that, a whole new team. Honestly, last year was really a whole new team as well. We had a little bit more returners. Obviously, we had about 4 or 5 guys come back from that year 1. But some of our Dante Howman was in his first year. Bradley Douglas was in his first year with us. So we want to do a great job here and obviously retain guys. But I think just the nature of college basketball and where we're at, I think you're going to have a lot of turnover year to year. We hope that we're, an outlier, at times, but, the good part is, in our league, there's not a lot of returners, there's not one all-conference selection that's back from a previous year. We're ecstatic to have Tyron back with us, who was an all-conference guy 2 years ago. So, it's a new group. You got to expedite the learning curve. I think, even like I said, with a new group last year, I thought we came out of the gate pretty hot, 4-1 to start the year. So, we got a tough stretch to start the year, 4 of our first 6 being true road games, with some, really, really tough ones in there. But this group's ready. They're hungry, and then obviously gearing into conference, we get a little bit more home laden schedule. So we're going to be tested early. We're going to handle it. I'm excited about it. And then I think, as we're gearing into conference, we're going to get opportunities to, play at the Hill and fans to see us. So I think you're going to see a ton of growth, especially in that first month of the season.
Where do you feel like the biggest strengths are on the team?
We have a lot of shooting. We have, more shooting than we've had here. Up to this point, a lot of shooting across the board. So, and we have a team that really moves the ball. So, we've been focused. We want to make a huge jump on defense. We made a huge jump in year 2 from year 1. But, when you look at our league, it was a 4-way tie for regular season championship last year, and all 4 of those teams were at the top when it came to defense in the league. So that's where, you're definitely going to see a team that shares the ball, definitely going to see a team that puts a lot of shooting on the floor. But what we want to see is, a team that really defends at a high level.
And as for women's head coach Hana Haden, she starts year 2, both the men and the women with plenty of new players on the team. We had a chance to talk with her about her outlooks for this year.
I feel like year 1 ended on a strong note for us. We won 7 out of our last 11 games and had some momentum, even 2 buzzer beaters in there that were heartbreakers, but I think that just speaks, to the basketball that we were playing. And looking forward to this year, a lot of new faces, kind of fresh team, but 4 returners, that all have experience in the Sun Belt. And I think I'm looking forward to, we need to play better earlier, so I think that's really important for us is we've got to get our identity established early because every game is just so pivotal in the Sun Belt, with the bracket and the way things that are set up for us. So looking forward to hopefully better basketball earlier this year, and that's a huge focus for us.
Where do you feel like the strengths are of this team?
Yeah, this team, we really tried to address a few things recruiting-wise, and we wanted to be able to shoot the 3 better, defend the 3 better, and take better care of the ball. Those were 3 things that were really deficiencies for us last year, so that's what we really went after in recruiting. Had a scrimmage last night. We went 10 for 26 from 3, so not to say that we'll shoot at 38% every night, but that we're hoping that that's going to be something that's a part of our identity, as well as defending the 3 and doing a better job there. And we pretty much pressed every possession, in our scrimmage last night. So we want to play a lot faster. We want to get more possessions. We want to get more shots up, and we want a lot of those shots to be 3s.
For you personally, coming in first year, you've got to kind of get the lay of the land and things like that. How much of a difference is it at this point this year compared to where you were this time last year?
Yeah, I think it's a huge difference going into year 2 and just having your feet under you. Our staff has had the opportunity to work together for a year. We know each other's strengths. Just for myself personally, I'd never really had a program with more than 1 or maybe 2 assistants. So figuring out, again, all of our strengths this year, we were kind of going the coordinator route with offense, defense, and special teams, and really just being able to hone in on everybody's strengths. Again, having 4 returners that are familiar with the league. So, I think that those are our advantages going into year 2, where it's not so much of a guessing game, but we kind of know what's coming.
All right, stay with us. High school previews coming up next. Gerard Pre-Owned of Statesboro voted best place to buy a pre-owned vehicle 12 years running. 3 decades of experience in serving our community. Locally owned and operated, every vehicle undergoes rigorous multi-point inspections and thorough reconditioning. Flexible financing for all credit types, whether you're starting fresh or building credit, they've got you covered. Experience the Gerard difference today. 2330 Northside Drive West in Statesboro. The Bulloch Sports Report is brought to you in part thanks to Morris Bank, proud sponsor of our Player of the Week segment. Well, the Statesboro Blue Devils get to renew an old rivalry with Effingham County, and in the past, these games meant a lot, and this time on Friday night, they mean a lot once again. They'll be playing for the region championship for Statesboro, Effingham looking to be the number 2 seed, and they would get to host a state playoff game. Effingham with a lot of Division I players on their squad, Statesboro High coming in with 5 straight wins, Effingham with 6. We had a chance to talk with Matt Dobson, a couple of his players, about the big game and the region championship on the line Friday at Womack Field. Here with Statesboro High head coach Matt Dobson. And coach, coming off that victory this past week, I know you felt like you didn't really have your A game, but it says a lot that you're able to win a game like that without playing the best you can.
Yeah, it certainly does. It says a lot about our kids that they've, the work they've put in. Even when we don't play our best, we still can find ways to win. And playing complementary football, I think, was a big part of that. When our offense struggled a little bit early, our defense stepped up. And special teams struggled a little bit early. We were able to still get stops, and then later in the game, our special teams really stepped up and made plays, and offense was able to close the game out there in the fourth quarter when we needed to get first downs and get a touchdown. And so just playing good complementary football says a lot about our entire football team and our coaching staff.
Playing for a region championship, I know that's That was the goal when you came here.
Yeah.
You've gotten there this quickly. How do you feel like you got here?
Yeah, just a lot of hard work. We what I'm most proud of with our coaching staff and our players is we just took no shortcuts to get here. We built this thing through a long process and did it the right way. There was some bumps in the road and over the last couple of years, but we knew if we just did it the right way and built it the right way that we could be successful here. And so proud of that. For our kids, we've talked all year just being process driven, not necessarily looking at results. Not one time at the beginning of the year in the off season that we say our goal is to win the region championship. We told them at the beginning of the year, if you just will follow the process and take each step in the process, take that seriously and focus on that part of the process, the results are going to take care of themselves. And at the end of the day, we'll look up and be successful. And proud of our kids for kind of following that. We started 2-2, 1-1 in the region, and then we've reeled off 5 in a row here. But haven't talked about that really. We've just talked about being process driven and finding ways to go 1-0 every week. And so but you look up here and you are playing for the region championship. And so huge opportunity for our kids and our community and our school and everybody involved with our football program.
Yeah, playing for a region championship, playing against a team that most people would consider Statesboro's biggest rival in Effingham County. What's that like for you?
It's cool. It's what high school football is all about. Rivalry games, big atmospheres, region championships, playoff seeding on the line, both of us locked into the playoffs. But both teams playing for a home playoff game, right? There's just a lot of things on the line, and that's what makes high school football special. Most of our kids know most of their kids, and their kids, everybody knows each other, maybe grew up, some of them playing with each other or against each other, and so it's fun, and I'm just so excited that we're playing meaningful games, in Womack Field late in the season. It's special, and it's what Statesboro is supposed to be doing, and just excited that's where our program is back at.
You're both coming off big wins this past week, and Effingham's on a roll themselves. They've won 6 in a row. What do you expect out of Effingham, and what do you feel like you have to do in order to win?
Yeah, they are really explosive on offense. Their quarterback's a really good player, a couple-year starter now, and throws it really well and just manages the game, doesn't make a lot of mistakes, probably similar to what I would say Beckham has done this year, just not throwing a lot of interceptions and taking care of the ball. Then they got just some really good skill kids. You got the Travis Hunter's little brother that's explosive and really athletic, and their running back is really special. He catches the ball really well out of the backfield. And if he breaks loose, he can go the distance. And then defensively, they're athletic. They run really well. And so gonna just like every week, we've got to run the football, control the clock, slow the game down a little bit, and just try to limit the explosive plays. We did a really good job of that this past week on defense. We did not give up a single play over 20 yards on defense, and so hopefully that gives our defense some confidence. And we just got to limit those big plays, control the clock, and then win the turnover margin. That's the real reason that Effingham won that game last week. They were +3 in the turnover margin, and gave up a lot of yards rushing to Glenn. But when you turn the football over, it's hard to win.
Here with Statesboro High quarterback Beckham Gerard, and Beckham coming off that big win this past week. How big was that for the team? And it seemed like you guys were able to answer every time that they came back and scored.
Yeah, it was a really big win, put us in the playoff spot. So now we're just looking forward to the next week. We try to go 1-0 every week, and that's what we did. And our offense was just ready to go after they put points on the board. We just had to come and fight back to win.
You mentioned you didn't feel like it was your best game. The offense overall, you guys struggled a little bit, made plays when you had to. What do you feel like you got to get a little better at going into this week?
Just being more prepared. You can always be more prepared. I don't feel like I prepared the best for that game. And the offense, we just got to get better in rhythm. So,
what's it like to know you've got a region championship opportunity in front of you? How are you guys feeling?
It's really cool. We haven't been able to do this for a long time, so just to bring back the winning culture is really fun. I'm really excited, and the team's excited.
What do you feel like you have to do in order to beat Effingham?
Run down their throats and then throw it over their heads and just play ball.
Here with wide receiver for Statesboro Blue Devils, Gage Newsom. And Gage, tell me a little bit about how you feel that the victory last week. You guys were able to do some things when you had to, maybe not playing at your best level, and you still were able to win.
Oh, yes, sir. We definitely didn't play out our best, but we still stay hard at during practice, and we still play hard. And now we're just ready for this game coming up.
How's the team feeling right now?
We're feeling great. We're about to go, after a win. We always feel great after a win. And about to go out like we always do at practice and go hit it hard, ready for Friday.
You got the region championship on the line coming up here. This has not happened at Statesboro in quite a while. How are you guys feeling about this?
Yes, sir. Coach Dawson always, he never brings up about region championship. So he just just lets us work, and then he never reminds us about it. And then, we know it's here, obviously. And, we would love to win that, but we're just going to stay hard and work.
You got Effingham County. What do you expect out of them? What do you feel like you have to do in order to win?
I feel like we just got to do what we've been doing, and then communicate. DBs communicate. Offense, no mental bust. Just do what we got to do in this work. That's it.
This is Paul Newman, owner and broker of Statesboro Real Estate. I have been in the business over 20 years and completed well over 1,000 transactions, helping buyers, sellers, and investors navigate the home buying process. One of the things that sets us apart is our tie to the university. I'm the official real estate agent of Georgia Southern Athletics. With our team of experienced brokers and agents and our online presence, we can help you navigate any deal. Along with Statesboro Real Estate, I'm the co-owner of PMG Rentals, where we manage over 1,300 properties, improving the lives of investors and tenants since 2009. Whether you're looking to rent, buy, or sell, make sure you call Paul.
At Pope Construction, we've been trusted to build Southeast Georgia for over 50 years. Family owned and operated, we take pride in delivering quality projects on time, every time. From schools to churches and government facilities, our team is committed to integrity, excellence, and building relationships in the communities we serve. Learn more at popeconstructionco.com. Well, the Southeast Bulloch Yellow Jackets, for their seniors, this could be their final game of the season. They have a slight chance of making it to the state playoffs with an at-large berth because a few of the private schools will be leaving, and the power polls, if Southeast Bulloch is able to get up there high enough, they may be able to make it in there. But this week they're going to be taking on Beach. We had a chance to talk with head coach Jared Zito about how the season has gone and what they expect on Friday.
I think everybody's, certainly disappointed, frustrated, all those things. First thing is I give credit to Long County. I thought they were really came in well prepared. Kids played hard. They executed at a high level, and we did. We played at times really well, and we gave great effort at times. It just again not consistent enough. And that's kind of been the story of our season in the really close games against good people is consistent play matters. We got one game left at home, certainly, and a glimmer of a chance maybe to make the playoffs with a win. So either way, we want to finish with a win, senior night, win at home, and then if we get a chance to get in, and that's a whole new season, a whole new breath of fresh air. But all we can control right now is us and getting ready for Beach.
Explain a little bit about the power ranking situation, which would be your region would end up getting 5 teams in, which is the only way you can get in there.
Yeah.
And then a little bit about the game with Beach.
Well, so basically with every private school that makes the playoffs in 3A, that opens a slot for another public school. So right now there are 3 teams slated to make the playoffs. The only one that could get upset on Thursday is Aquinas. If they were to lose, that would only give 2 slots, would really hurt our chances of getting in. As long as they win, there's a slot, and then everything will be based off power rankings at that point. All the people we've lost to have won at least 5 games with Beach, with Long County being one of them. And then you got Statesboro, who was our non-region game, who's continued to have a really great season. So in all reality, that's helped us. With Beach, they don't have a lot of numbers. They got about 25 guys, I think, on the team. A lot of guys playing both ways. They're really athletic. quarterbacks, maybe the best quarterback, I think, just raw talent, throwing ability and running ability. Got a big running back that plays some defense. Always going to have team speed. Defensively, they're always going to have length. They're hard to it's hard to block them for a long period of time. They get off blocks and they run to the football really well. So, and they're really good about getting turnovers and stripping the ball and those kind of things. So, got to play really good to beat this team at home.
For your seniors, it could be their last opportunity to play a football game, and you always want to be able to close out things good.
Well, you want to win. If Friday's our last game of the season, you want to send those guys out with a win at home, and those are memories they'll never get back. You're always thinking about the next year, and so you want to end with a win, so that carries maybe a little positivity and momentum into the off season for the guys that are returning. And everybody works so hard, coaches, players, parents, community members, that winning at home makes everything feel a little better. And 5-5 is a whole lot better than 4-6, and then maybe we get a little lucky and get a chance at the second season.
Pojo's Country Store is proud to support all Bulloch County and surrounding area athletics. We've been fueling up for almost 20 years, with 3 locations in Statesboro and locations in Sylvania, Wadley, and Bagsley. Pojo's Country Stores is the real MVP. And a special shout out for our Bulloch Academy Gators. Go get them.
Well, the Bulloch Academy Gators off this week, an opening round bye, as they're the number 4 seed in the upcoming state playoffs in GIAA, which begin this Friday for many teams, and then next week for the top teams in the GIAA 4A. The Bulloch Academy will be taking on George Walton. We had a chance to talk with head coach Aaron Phillips and a couple players about how they feel about getting this week off and getting ready for the state playoff run. Here with Bulloch Academy head coach Aaron Phillips. And coach, you got a bye week this week as you guys wait to play George Walton the following week. How are you guys feeling right now? How are you feeling the way you ended the year?
Yeah, right now we're feeling pretty good. We're healthy. That's the biggest thing at this point in the year, is that, we're going to probably be as healthy as we've been all season long, and getting a bye week helps out. I mean, this time of the year, you're fighting, head colds and strep throat and all the little things that, your body's been beat down for so long. As a coach, I don't like bye weeks. I'd rather keep rocking and rolling, especially when you feel like you're playing pretty good. But at the same time, I do understand, on that side of it, that it could help us or benefit us a little bit, to kind of iron out some things. And it was a very, really physical football game we played last week. So some kids were sore, not banged up, but sore. So, and we're able to kind of work on us a little bit this week, a little bit on George Walton, but a lot on us, and trying to be able to, smooth some things out defensively and sharpen everything up offensively.
Do you feel like the state title run from last year has you guys in a good mindset as you get ready to start this second season kind of?
Yeah, our kids now are, for the playoffs. I was figuring up, our kids have been able to play almost the whole season of playoff games over the last 2 years. So that experience for these juniors and seniors are big. And we understand, what it takes. And, right now it's who wants to keep playing football, who wants to do, the little things. It's a long, grueling season, 10 games. For us, it was fighting, playing on Saturday, playing on Tuesday, playing on Thursday, playing on another Thursday. It was kind of, almost like last year where we had the hurricanes and things like that. We've had to deal with some unexpected things that come up that were out of our control. And so our kids have handled it pretty well. We're a young team. I told, our coaching staff were joking in our meeting that, at last year, we lost 14 seniors. Of those 14 seniors, 16 of those were starters on the 22. And so you're only returning 6 guys or 6 positions out of 22. If you'd have told us we'd have been 8-2, we probably all would have signed that 8-2 and got a bye in the first round and get to play home field. I mean, we all would have signed that, just based on what we have. But this group has done a great job. They've gotten better and better each week, even though, we didn't play as good as I'd hope against Frederica. We've improved week to week. Last week for Pinewood, we played a couple of kids in some different positions. A lot of that was, it's hard to play certain guys on both sides of the ball for 10 games. If you do that, you may not have them in games 11, 12, and 13. That worked out. We played really good up front, in the front seven on both sides. And so, we're going to carry that momentum into George Walton. I think I thought our team looked as physical and as we were striking and playing downhill as good as we've had all year.
Yeah, we're feeling good. I think that was a really big win for our program. Just kind of have that confidence beating that rivalry team. And I think I'm feeling good going into this bye week and then the next week. The offense side of the ball is doing really well. Offensive line, running game is doing great. And then our defense is playing well, but we're getting beat on the back end a little bit. But, I think we'll use this bye week and fix that up and we'll be good. Feeling great. I mean, it's all lined up for us. I don't believe there's a team that we can't beat, so I think we're good.
I think we're feeling great. It's a big win, rivalry win. As of the bye week, I think we're all feeling good. I think everybody's trying to get all their bumps and bruises healed and ready to make a strong run in the playoffs. Our offense is clicking well. We're running the ball good, starting to get our passes down, taking the shots that we need, making them big plays, and we're executing them. I would definitely say our secondary is somewhere we lack. We can obviously do what we need to do to win, but that's definitely a big weakness that we need to help fix. I would say we know what to expect in our run. I think even like the younger guys that had to step up and play this year, I think they know what to expect too because they were part of the team last year. Obviously it's a different role for them actually playing, but I think they know what to expect and know what to do, and I think we'll make a good run.
And as for the Portal Panthers, they will wrap up the season coming up here Friday night at the Portal Athletic Complex as they'll host McIntosh County Academy. That'll wrap things up for now. We thank you for joining us. Hope to see you again next week.